Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten. I'm the social media coordinator here at Email and Acid, and I'm sitting here with Justin, our director of customer success.
Hey everybody.
How's everyone doing today? Doesn't look like we've had anyone join yet, but we'll keep an eye out to see when people arrive. So Justin here is pretty famous for icebreakers here at Email and Acid. Do you have one you'd like to share with us today?
Oh, I definitely do. So the reason that I'm famous for icebreakers, though, is because I think that when you get to know people better and you understand who you're learning from and who you're learning with, it just goes a really long way. So the question today that you have to answer, and actually I set this up so a lot of you guys can play along while you're watching this event. The first question that I want to ask, or the question that I want to open with is, what is your favorite or most used emoji?
Interesting. So is that,
tell us why, too.
Tell us why. Okay. So mine would definitely be the crying laughing emoji. I feel like the smiley emoji doesn't do enough. Doesn't communicate enough, you know? So I need to show that I'm laughing.
I could get on board with that.
Yeah.
For me, my favorite emoji is the green box with the white check mark in it. It's in a square. You can use it once, you can use it 3 times, but the reason that it's so important is because it has this sort of get it done, I absolutely have finished that, or check, I understood your message. It seems really ubiquitous that the green check mark could be used over and over and over again. So even when I open up my phone and I look at like what's the most used one, generally that's the one. Yeah. Looks like there's a couple people that shared their emojis too, I wonder.
Ooh, a llama.
Oh my God, is my wife on? It is.
It's okay.
So that is absolutely what she would pick.
A llama.
So
and why a llama?
It's really hard to say. For some reason, like llamas have taken the world by storm recently, it would seem.
Interesting.
We have like Fala Llama mugs, and we have Mr. and Mrs. Llama mugs, and so she would absolutely choose.
All right, and then there's Darcy. Darcy, do you have a favorite emoji you like to use? Let us know in the comments. So yeah, why don't you tell us what you guys can continue to post your emojis and we'll review them throughout the rest of this chat. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about customer success and what that means here at Email and Acid.
I would be happy to actually. So the customer success team here is actually a relatively new team. We developed this team about a year ago, and this team is really designed to make sure that our customers are ridiculously successful using the tool. So you think about all the different touch points that we have with customers. That's my team, and that's what we're ultimately working on, making sure that folks have a great experience. So you might interact with them on a chat. So if you log into the chat and you open the bubble at the bottom, you're going to get somebody on my team. If you open a support ticket, if you make a phone call, if you have questions about your renewal, if you have questions about how to use the platform, all of those different things are customer success tools. And ultimately, we want to make sure that as a customer success team, our customers are ridiculously happy and wildly successful with the tools. So we've built a team around servicing that. We're also the group inside of the business that represents our customers to the rest of the organization. So we work with the marketing team to make sure that you get great content in your inbox. We work with the product team to make sure that as you give us product feedback and as you help us know what you need and what's changing inside the marketplace, our responsibility is to hear that, to synthesize it, and to put it back to the product team so that you can see actionable changes inside of the application. So really, if you think about it as being something that is important to your success inside of the platform, that's something that my team is responsible for.
Interesting. So it kind of sounds like customer success is basically Email and Acid's ear to our customers.
Absolutely. So we want to hear from customers. We want to make sure that they are speaking to us, that they're telling us what they need when they need it. If they're having challenges, we want to know about that too. But the reality is that as the world of email marketing is changing, our customers are the very best way for us to understand what's happening out there. And so by having a strong customer success team, we really think that we can serve you best. We can make sure that you have an outlet to share the things that you need, and then we can work as a company to be able to partner with you in your email QA efforts.
Okay, great. So maybe you could tell us about this amazing team you have.
I can, and I would love to. So on my team, I have Jeff Traub, I have Kinsey Bingham, I have Becky Mack, I have Ashley Edwards, There's a handful of other folks that work behind the scenes, but you might have already had a chat with them. You might have opened a support ticket with one of them. You might have gotten them on the phone when you've called in, but these are the amazing brains behind the operation. These are really the guys that know the insides, the outsides, the upside downs of our platform. They know why certain things work a certain way, and they're really the best troubleshooters. So when you get on the phone with those folks and you say, hey, I'm having a challenge or I'm having a problem, those are the guys that are going to help you work through it. They're also a great group of idea folks. So if you say, we've got to change our process in the organization because we now need to account for X, call those guys. They're regularly coaching our customers so that they can take advantage of best practices. One of the coolest things about being a customer success team is we can cross-pollinate ideas. So we might say, hey, I heard this from this organization. This is how they're trying it. One of the things that you might want to do to improve your practices are X, Y, and Z. And so by being connected to so many different people in the email marketing industry, we already know it's a tight-knit community, but you can get on the phone with somebody who's part of that community, get answers to questions that you have somebody help coach you and your team through it, whether it's in the application or whether it's just general industry. We would love the help. So really, really excited to be part of that.
Great. Awesome. Well, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Kirsten, and I'm sitting here with Email and Acid's Director of Customer Success, Justin Miller. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat, and Justin would be happy to answer those for you.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about Campaign Pre-Check. It's our new tool here at Email and Acid, and I know the customer success team helps people out with that a lot.
Yeah. So first of all, if you haven't used Campaign Pre-Check, you're missing out. So Campaign Pre-Check is our brand new workflow tool that we really think is going to change the face of email QA processes. So this is one of those tools that provides a step-by-step process through your email campaign where you've built your email and you're ready to QA it. So essentially what we've done is we've taken a TurboTax type of mentality. So those of you that have ever filed your taxes with TurboTax, you know that you come in and you get a guided workflow that says, hey, let's enter your income. Hey, let's talk about your deductions. Oh, awesome, you have this huge refund at the end. What we've done is we've taken that same concept that says, what if we guide somebody through their campaign deployment? What if we help make sure that that email is ready to go out the door? So we're going to help you check for things like your subject line and your pre-header text. So you can test those things before you send them out. What is it going to look like when it shows up in the inbox? We're going to help you optimize for accessibility. I was shocked when I read a number of weeks ago that 15% of the population that is on your lists are reading your email with a screen reader. Have you optimized your email to be able to be heard instead of just seen? You know, so we're going to help you identify some of those common accessibility practices and some of those not so common ones. The best part about it, though, is you don't have to be an HTML expert. You can be. That's great. You might come and still see some things inside of the tool because we've got that best practice network that's informing our product development. But if you don't know how to fix it, that's okay too, because Campaign Pre-Check, you can use the Fix Now button. We'll go update your code for you.
Wow.
Don't worry though, if you get a little bit nervous about your code, the last step in that workflow is where you're going to re-download your assets. But before you do that, we're going to show you a side-by-side color-coded comparison so you can see exactly what we changed and where and the impact that it had on your email. So when you talk about boosting the ROI, making sure that you get to every piece of your send list, this is really the tool that's going to help you do that. So we're going to do that in a step-by-step workflow. And ultimately, I can't see a campaign that should go out the door that hasn't been through this tool. It's just that important.
Interesting. So could you tell us maybe some more of those benefits? I know you talked about the accessibility, so you could break that down a little bit, because I know that's a big talking point in the industry right now.
Absolutely. So accessibility, you think about all of the population that's living with a disability that changes how they would interact with your email. So if, for example, something kind of simple like title attributes in your email, if you missed those, when your screen reader goes to read that email, it's not going to be intelligible to the person that's listening. They won't be able to understand what your message is, and they won't get to your call to action. So optimizing for accessibility means things like, have I checked to make sure it's going to sound good on a screen reader? What if somebody like my dad is zoomed in to 150% on that email? Where does the CTA button go? Can I still find it? Can I still click that link? It's going to help us with things like links. If I have a visual impairment, we know that best practice is to underline links. And so if we haven't done that, that might just appear exactly like any other word inside of your email, and you might miss clicks because somebody didn't know that something was clickable. Things like my brother-in-law has a color deficiency. So when he reads email, he might not be able to see red or green, right? And so it's super important for you to make sure you've optimized for that. Things like contrast ratio. If I have visual impairments, I might not be able to see your company header or your logo or your CTA because the contrast ratio didn't meet acceptable web standards. We're going to help call those things out too. So again, these are quick things though, right? If you think about how you would have to go diagnose all of these things on your own, it's a huge time saver.
Right.
But what if you can just drop your HTML and say, next, change it. Next, perfect. Next, good, right? In 15 or 20 seconds, you've run through several accessibility features and optimized your email for them. So that's why I'm talking about every campaign, every time should go through Campaign Pre-Check. It just makes a difference.
Yeah, so you can make your emails accessible in minutes, basically, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. So I was chatting with some customers before, and they were talking about before Campaign Pre-Check, they might have 45 minutes to an hour of QA that would go into just the accessibility step of making sure an email looks great. What if you had 43 of those 45 minutes back? What would you do with it? What would you be able to change in your design? What if you could take better, smarter risks in your email and still know it was going to pan off because you have run it through the industry standard in terms of what should go out the door, and you get that stamp of approval that says, man, I put this through Campaign Pre-Check and it passed.
Yeah, so talk to us about that confidence tracker,
Yeah,
the stamp of approval and how you get that.
Okay, so there's a couple things you should be thinking about. Inside of the application, at the top, you're going to see your send anxiety meter. We all know it's a real thing. Send anxiety, I've built my email, I'm ready to push it out the door, and then I go, should I? Right?
Yeah.
And then if you're anything like me, when you push out a paper in college, right? As soon as I hit submit to one of my professors, I go, I see my typo, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, email is not one of those things that we get to recall. You all know that. You live in that world, right? But we don't get an unsend button. We don't get a never mind whoops button. It has to be perfect when we send it out the door. So what we do is each step of the way, we're going to help reduce send anxiety. Right? You can reduce your send anxiety when you verify that everything looked good for accessibility. You can reduce your send anxiety when you verify that all of your links resolve, they do so quickly. You're going to reduce your send anxiety when you know that all of your images are valid, when you know that you're going to have a strong deliverability because you've checked it for spam, right? All of those things take a lot of time, but Campaign Pre-Check makes that super fast, super simple. So instead of spending hours checking all of those various different things, we're going to do it in a matter of minutes. Super, super exciting for folks to have that time back in their day and to be able to leverage each of those features as they work through. So I talked about a couple of them. We talked about accessibility check. We talked about pre-header checks. We talked about the inbox display. What does your subject line look like when it lands in someone's inbox? We talked about the deliverability. We talked about URL validation and image validation. There's so much packed into one workflow that you get through it so quickly.
Super fast. And then you get that check mark at the end.
Yes,
like your
the
favorite
check mark at the
emoji.
end, like my favorite emoji. I haven't seen any new emojis come in, so I do wonder if you're just joining us, make sure you drop your favorite emoji inside of the chat. We want to know what different folks are picking. That seems really important to us today.
Yeah, definitely.
But my favorite emoji was the green check mark, and it does really go along with what happens at the end of this campaign. So you're going to get a one-pager summary of what was in your campaign, what you fixed, and we're going to say you've passed accessibility now. You've passed URL validation. You've passed image validation. All of the steps that you've built into your workflow, you're going to get a green check mark, or you're going to get a, man, you chose to skip that, and here's why. Okay. But that summary page, you can go and share. Maybe you're an agency and you need to share it with your clients and say, look, this got the email and asset stamp of approval. It's ready to deploy. Maybe you need to go back to your team and say, hey, these are the 3 things that still need adjusted, and you're going to push it back up into the workflow, right? So I did learn that from a customer that they said, I don't want to change it right here because I need to teach people upstream of things that they want to fix. So they're using that summary page as saying, these are the areas that weren't perfect when I got it the first time. And they're using the green check marks to say this one passed, but they're using those red X's to say you've got to come back and work on some of these different areas. Now, that's not necessarily the workflow we'd advocate. We would say get it done right inside of the platform and you're going to be ready for deployment. But we do see our customers using things in really creative ways to make sure that they meet their business practices and that they can bring their organization along with them. It's a new tool and it's super exciting, but we do know that sometimes organizations are a little bit slow to change.
Yeah.
So we see some folks going, we're going to use Campaign Pre-Check, but the way I'm going to bring everybody along is a little bit different from organization to organization.
Interesting. Yeah, so it sounds like it's very customizable.
It is.
Depending on what you want to do.
It is. So the first time you hop on the platform, we're going to say, here's our recommended workflow. But you have the ability to toggle certain items on or off. Perhaps you're just not responsible for images. That'd be a weird thing to not be
Or
responsible
checking the URLs,
for.
maybe.
Yeah. But you can turn off that step. And we'll remember that, and you can always go back into your settings and turn it back on. But we'll remember step by step what you've checked, and then we'll show those things on your summary page as something that you reviewed, and you'll have that piece of paper that shows that you should have a high send confidence. So.
And you can launch a test right from the platform correctly.
You can.
So you go through all the steps of Campaign Pre-Check, and then you just test it to make sure everything looks correct as well.
Absolutely, that's right. So when you have finished running your workflow through that pre-deployment QA, we can take those final assets with everything that's changed in it, and you can launch your email preview test right from there. So most of you know Email on Asset because you're getting over 70 email clients with unlimited previews with your subscription. That doesn't change. That doesn't go away. You still have access to that. Our recommendation is you put this process in front of it and you launch the test right from your new HTML. This is then going to allow you to look and see exactly how that email is going to render in each different client and know that it looks perfect in the inbox before you click send. Absolutely. It hooks right up to the traditional tool that you're used to using with Email on Asset. Very, very exciting stuff.
That's pretty awesome. So for those of you just joining us, I'm sitting here with our Director of Customer Success. This is Justin Miller. If you have any questions about Campaign Pre-Check or about customer service here at Email on Asset, please just type them into the chat box. So what should people do if they're getting stuck while they're in Campaign Pre-Check?
Okay. It depends on what you're stuck with. Generally, if you get stuck inside of the application, you're going to want to click on one of the little question mark boxes that's right next to the thing that you're stuck with. What we really pride ourselves on at Email on Asset is not just being a tool, but also being thought leaders in the industry. And we've tried to bake some of that thought leadership right into the application. So if you're not even sure why something's important, or you need to understand the implication of changing or not changing something, you can open up right inside of the application and see the help that would show you, one, why it's important, but also how to do it. At the top right, there's a question mark. You can open that up. That takes you to our Help Center. Where we've got videos and we've got documents and all sorts of resources that are going to help someone work through. But even further, if you want to talk to somebody on my team, just click on the chat bubble at the bottom of the application. It's going to open up and you can get a hold of Kinsey or Jeff or Becky or Ashley. And sometimes me too, right? So if you want to open that up and have your questions answered, you can do that right inside the application.
Great. Let's see. I think that's kind of all I have. Any other sound bites you'd like to leave the audience with?
Yeah.
Tips, tricks, anything?
You know, probably the most important thing that folks can hear that they can pay attention to is how do I get there? So I've heard all these cool things. I understand that there is this new Campaign Pre-Check tool out there, but how do I actually get to it? So when you log into the Email on Asset application, at the left side in your navigation, you're going to see an area that says Campaign Pre-Check. A lot of you, I've noticed that when I've helped customers, they've collapsed that left screen so they get more real estate back. It's probably worth it to come over there and expand that out. You're going to see that the top option says Campaign Pre-Check. That's how you launch into that application.
Okay.
If you don't have that as part of your package today, so maybe you are a legacy customer, you've been with us a long time, and it's not included in your current pricing, no problem. You can upgrade right inside of the application, but more than likely you're going to want to try it for free. So what I want you to do is click on that Campaign Pre-Check link and then open up the chat bubble at the bottom. You're going to get somebody from my team, tell them that I sent you, and that you're going to get a free trial of the application. So what I want you to do is say, Justin sent me here. He said that I can try the Campaign Pre-Check tool for free for 7 days. awesome. We're going to go ahead and turn that on for you so that you have access to Campaign Pre-Check, and you can try all these great features before you even sign up for the tool. That's just our thank you for being a customer for a long time, for those of you guys that don't have that inside of your package. If you're not a customer yet, one, you should be, but two, the way you do that is go to our emailandasset.com website, click on free trial. When you sign up for your free trial there, you're going to have immediate access to Campaign Pre-Check. You're going to have immediate access to our spam testing tool. You're going to have immediate access to our analytics tool. All of those different things that you need to make sure that you are sending out a high quality email. All of those tools are going to be included with your free trial. Awesome. So if you need help with that, same thing. Click on the little chat icon at the bottom, and somebody from the team is going to help you either get signed up or get started. Either of those two things are things that we can help with. But super excited to see the folks that come in, super excited to help you all get on trials of Campaign Pre-Check or to help you start using it if you already have it. It is something that if it's in your subscription you're already paying for, you're just missing out on it. So start using it right away. And if you don't have it as part of your tool yet, not a problem. Just let the team know. We're going to get you taken care of so that you can try it, you can see its power, and then you can literally show the amount of time that you save in the quality of your send. You're going to see it in your opens. You're going to see it in your clicks. When you've optimized with Campaign Pre-Check, you are ultimately going to send out, we believe, a stronger email that reaches more corners of your list.
All right, so just tell them that Justin sent you, and they'll get you hooked up with that free trial. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Justin.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. And guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to just put them in the chat. We can always get them back to Justin, and he'd be happy to answer them for you. So thanks again for joining us.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we look forward to chatting with you online or talking to you on the phone. Take care, guys.
Bye.